Dar es Salaam Stock Exchange has actually given investors interesting and very consistent returns in the past. And this is what we're going to talk about today on this channel. We're going to talk about navigating the process of opening an account for you to start investing on the Dar es Salaam Stock Exchange. Investing, not speculating. This is what we do here. We invest for the long term, and we believe in an African story that will be realized in 5, 10, or 20 years from now, where you realize that Africa will be one of the most interesting and robust economic regions of the world. Let's start with a broader overview. Why Tanzania? Why would you want to invest in this African economy? Other than the fact that Tanzania is Africa's 9th largest economy and East Africa's 2nd largest economy, there are so many other reasons for you to want to invest here. We're looking at a country that is actually interestingly industrialized. It's actually something that, has good access to the sea, something that has robust trade, and is something that forms part of the corridor for getting inland for other African economies that like Burundi, Rwanda, that may actually want to get their access goods shipped out or into the African continent. When you look at this, you have a positive economic outlook in this country with a Madam President, shall we say. African women who have gotten in power have shown consistently how important it is to have diversity in these highest offices. African women in power have actually shown that they can drive economies to greater heights, and this is certainly something that I anticipate will happen with the Tanzanian economy with the coming in of, Madam President here. We actually have a stable democracy here, something to talk about actually, which most people overlook. That the policy in Tanzania has been very consistent. Unlike in some other African countries where you have had leaders overstaying their offices, the leaders in Tanzania have been very clear that they just want to serve for 2 terms and leave, and actually give in to people. Of course, past leaders of Tanzania, if you listen to them, you see the wisdom that they have brought into that office and sort of the great respect they have put in towards people-centered policies. But getting back to the Tanzanian economy and getting back to the Dar es Salaam Stock Exchange in particular, the numbers have also been interesting. In the past month alone, that is the past month from today until minus 31 days from today, Monday, May 31, when I'm recording these videos, these numbers I'm about to give you, the past month alone, the market has gone up 6.25%. You won't find these types of returns in many regions of the world other than the African continent. And this is something that I always say here. The numbers don't lie. And of course, these numbers are the USD increase in the prices on the all-share index on the Dar es Salaam Stock Exchange. In the past 3 months, the market has gone up 7.31%, something which is also very interesting. And year to date, from 1 January to today, Monday, May 31, the market has gone up 8.92%. This is also something you want to consider, that the returns here have been very consistent and they have been very robust. Now, let's get to the how. How do you actually start your journey and how do you start investing on the Dar es Salaam Stock Exchange? The first thing you want to do is you want to read and research the market. As I always say, it's very important to not make these decisions out of emotion that Maro is saying we should start investing, guys, so I'm just going to be throwing out money. No, you don't want to do that. You actually want to read and understand the market. You want to understand the economy. You want to understand the stock market as a whole and forces that have been pushing, companies here, what the companies have been doing in the past and what the companies are likely to do in the future. Of course, you see these when you narrow down your list in the annual reports of the companies that you want to invest in, and you'll be able to see whether you think this company is robust enough and whether you think the management has the vision that you really want for you to be able to let out your money and give it to them. After you have done your research and after you think you can understand the market, then you want to go to the Dar es Salaam Stock Exchange website and actually find the list of brokers. There are 13 brokers there by my count, which I found on this Dar es Salaam Stock Exchange. You want to look at that list and see which brokers you want to email. You want to email them just a basic email telling them your name and telling them where you're living and that you intend to invest in Tanzania, and you want to know what is it that they require for you to open an account on the Dar es Salaam Stock Exchange. When you get your responses from these brokers, of course, it's likely that you're going to get a response from more than one broker. Then you need to be able to narrow them down. When you get to the narrowing down process, you want to consider many factors here. You're looking at the research they have done in the past to see whether that research can help you as an investor for you to get more information and decide which companies you want to invest in Tanzania. You also want to look at, do they offer broker-controlled accounts? If you need a broker-controlled account, You think you're not at a point where you can make decisions on which Tanzanian companies to invest in, but you want a broker to have custody of the funds and to determine which counters to buy for you, then you might want to ask this. You want to ask them if they require you to open a local bank account. This is something that is important because, as I always say, local bank accounts are much more difficult to open just compared to just stockbroking accounts. So if this is something that you want to be interested in, and this is something that you're not particularly confident that you'll be able to open a local bank account in Tanzania, then you actually want to get that flushed out from the start before you actually commit to a broker. Now, if you have committed to a broker, then you want to look at the requirements that they ask you. In my case, I want to tell you about the broker whose information I'm going to leave in the comments below. Of course, they want you to have an account opening form where you just state your details and address and everything else. There's also a KYC form, which is more diving deep and understanding you as a client, because of course, for money laundering reasons, they want to make sure that you're authentic and that your money comes from legitimate sources and you're not actually stealing money for you to invest. On top of this, they want you to have a notarized valid ID. In my case, it was my passport because I'm not a Tanzanian citizen. If you're a Tanzanian citizen, I'm guessing there are other ways in which you can verify your identity. But for most viewers of the channel, you're particularly looking at notarizing your passport and sending it there. And then, of course, they want your bank account for the past 3 months because they need to be able to verify whether you actually have had consistent money coming in, and then a passport picture just to put it in. Coming to the minimum amounts. Is there a minimum amount that you are required to have for you to invest in the Salaam Stock Exchange? Well, the good answer is that the amount is 0. There is no minimum amount. However little you have, if you're in Tanzania, if you're someone outside Africa who just wants to explore this market, you can actually go in and start investing the little that you have and start building a portfolio over the years that you actually be able to look at and be proud of in a couple of years, if not in a couple of decades. So then, how do you fund the account if you open an account in Tanzania? If you're not in Tanzania, then definitely you're looking at making international wire transfers and just sending it to the bank account of your broker. If you are in Tanzania, you can do this with a bank account transfer. You can also do this with mobile money using the broker that I use or the broker that I'm going to link below. They also have an option for you to use mobile money if you're in Tanzania and you want to invest in the market. So definitely this is something you want to consider depending on which region you're watching this video from and which region you consider yourself a resident of. For dividends, of course, these can be sent to stockbrokers account. When you open the account, you can state to them that really I want these dividends to be sent to your account so that I don't have to open a local bank account if you don't want to open a local bank account. And then when the dividends get to your stockbrokers account, you can always tell them either to reinvest in the market or to flash them out and send them out in the international wire transfer to you. So these are the options that you'll be considering as you're making your decisions. Communication, which is important. You need to communicate with your broker. How do you do this? The main way to communicate is email. Tanzania is an English-speaking country, well, Swahili mainly, but they also speak English. And so because of this, if you're someone who is from an English-speaking region, it should be very easy for you to exchange emails with them and for you to call them sometimes if you really think that there's something that's urgent that needs to be done. So definitely, this is a market that you guys want to look at. This is a market that I am interested in just to make sure that I put my feet in and I observe these companies with an insider view. Because the interesting thing is that you don't actually need to have millions of dollars or millions of kwachas or whatever currency that you use. You just need to have just a little amount that you devote to a market and you start the journey. The most important thing is starting. You want to start. You invest however little that you have, you start getting these companies' annual reports and you start getting information about the market from your broker. And then as you save, as you grow, and as your investments grow, you'll be able to redeploy your capital and actually figure out what's the best way for you to have your capital grow. So if you have a Tanzanian investment story, do let me know in the comments below. I would love to really hear about it and for us to, share some notes on how you have been doing investing on the Salaam Stock Exchange. If you're someone who is excited about the market, if you're someone who is looking forward to studying the market, also do let me know in the comments below. And if you're just someone who is interested in watching these videos and liking them, then of course do like them also, because liking is good for the algorithm to be able to spread out this information to as many people as it can. And so until next time, my name is Maro. See you then.